Clay Mercer here with ECSU men's basketball head coach John Richardson III. The ECSU Vikings come away with a tough loss against Johnson C. Smith. And Coach, overall thoughts on how tonight's game went?
Well, I was proud of the effort. Obviously being back in Vaughn was just nice, very, very needed. And we still got to work the kinks out with our conditioning. But I'm not making any excuses. We didn't come out the gate, and that's disappointing. We didn't come out the first 5-6 minutes. I tinkered with the lineup a little bit, and looked like we had a little bit of stage fright going on there. And give Smith credit. They made the plays, especially down the stretch. But, I thought, as the game got going, we got into a rhythm. Had some foul trouble late in the first half, and then we kind of took a slide. We didn't finish the half well. And then they got up. And then, starting out in the second half, we just hit a lull and didn't make a shot. They got in the lane. They got some confidence. They made some big shots. But then, again, we fought back. The effort was there. But, we just didn't execute down the stretch offensively or defensively. And we got to be able to learn those lessons if we want to, have the success that we want to have for the rest of the year.
We talk about the Golden Bulls. Obviously, Jamari Bryant took a lot of your mind when it came to defending him, and I thought the Vikings did a pretty good job on him in the first half. Yeah. He got to go in a little bit in the second half, but he was a difficult cover. Talk a little bit about that and how ECSU was able to handle that, really, specifically in the first half.
Yeah, he's a tough cover. I mean, he's a 3-level scorer. He's very physical. Yeah. He's older, experienced. He's been in these kind of games before. And, the guys that we had guarding him tonight, we kind of struggled with him in one-on-one situations. We weren't in the necessary gap to be able to help against the drive. And then, his strength really just played a toll down the stretch because, again, we didn't do a good job of walling up and keeping him out the lane. Also, if you have a smaller guy on him, he can face up and then he can shoot the ball from 17 feet. So, he's a very talented player. And again, I tip my hat to him. He made some tough shots as well, too. So it wasn't like, that we didn't give him any resistance. He's a good player in our league, and we're going to have to deal with him again once we go down to Charlotte next month.
Speaking of good players, Jaquante Harris, your preseason All-CIAA selection, played really well for you in this contest on the offensive side. A lot of players stepped up, but talk about his effort and really the overall effort that the Vikings had in this game.
Well, Tay goes how we go. If Tay is in a groove, we're pretty good. I would like for him to be more of a playmaker at times, and being able to make the right read. Particularly when they're clogging the lane up on him. Sometimes he's kind of in between. But again, I always want him to be in attack mode. And when he's in attack mode, whether he's knocking down threes, hitting a mid-range, or even getting to the free throw line, that's what we want him to do. He's our best player, our best guy that can score the ball, and he's our most experienced player. He's been in these kind of games before. Trevor Smith is evolving. He's coming from Richmond, Hampton, but at the end of the day, he's someone that hadn't played a lot of basketball on this stage, as far as being able to be late in the game when it matters. So, again, we have guys that we're counting on that they got to get that experience. And right now we're on the wrong side of the scoreboard. But down the road, if they continue just to believe in one another and improve, especially on the defensive end, I think brighter days are definitely ahead.
Looking at the stats, you look at the free throws. Johnson C. Smith, 39 free throws in this game. ECSU, 20. Was that just really because of the Golden Bulls' aggressiveness going to the basketball, going to the basket, or do you kind of say something else about that?
No, absolutely. Was there? They were more aggressive. Again, it's going to show on tape that we don't guard the paint well, and that's something that has to be corrected as we move through the season. People are going to look at the stat sheet, and the first thing they're going to see is, wow, they got 40 paint points, and that happened at Lincoln Memorial, that happened at Charleston, that happened at Davis and Elkin. So when you're watching, when you're evaluating, scouting us, right now you can attack us off the dribble, and we have to get that corrected, and that's part of it. If we're able to keep people in front, we've done it, and when we do it, we can stop, and then we can get out on the break and make some good things happen. But if we're constantly trying to allowing guys to get into the lane, it's very difficult to win basketball games like that.
Obviously, the Vikings still looking for their first win, but Coach, you've had some tough games in these first four, including Johnson C. Smith really early there. But you talk about the youth that you have on your team, but this is one of those games. It's almost like a building block to get the team where they would need.
Well, I mean, and again, I feel for our fans, our supporters, because when you look at our record, yes, we're 0-4 right now, but the schedule is by design because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to set the bar where we were with the opponents that we were playing, and nothing would be easy, so that we'll benefit from these life lessons and learning blocks, in January and February. So, I'm not surprised really where we are. I felt like Smith was going to be a tough out because they're very well coached. Coach Banks does a good job with that ball club, and they got experience. Me, I don't have as much as experience. Got talent.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, he has some returning guys that understand what it's like to be in those kind of ball games, especially in the CIAA. So, once our guys get some more games under the belt, we continue to improve. I believe that we'll be on the other side of it.
Tough loss for ECSU, 82-72 here inside the Vaughn Center, but many more games to come. That's the head coach of ECSU men's basketball, John Richardson III. Coach Richardson, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.